Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina, and today we're going to be doing Chrissy Teigen's famous banana bread. This is coming from her cookbook, Cravings Hungry for More, on page 236 for those that want to cook along with me. Now, I'm kind of excited about doing this because if you remember a while ago, she kind of was trending on Twitter, Instagram. I'm not for sure which one of those. We all know I don't do social media about needing ripe bananas to do this. So I'm excited to actually be trying this recipe for the first time. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I always do, as you guys know, is I have all of my ingredients set out, my bananas and eggs and everything. And now I'm going to go over to my oven and put my oven on 325 because it says to preheat the oven to 325. So let me go ahead and do that. Now that the oven is preheated to 325, I'm going to start reading her recipe. In a large bowl, combine mashed bananas, eggs, and oil. Here's my mashed bananas. I put my 6 ripe brown bananas in a gallon bag and I mashed them with my hands like that. It seemed to be the easiest and the less messy way to do it. And hopefully I have 2 cups of these. In her recipe book, she has an asterisk by the 2 cups of mashed, very ripe bananas, and I want to read that to you. It says, get 6 bananas, not 4, not 5, but 6. You will think you only need 5 because it looks like enough, but it will not be enough. You will get 5. You will mash them. You will be about a half an inch short, and that makes a difference, and you cannot get around it. Trust me. So here's our 6. I did it. I'm going to see if I have 2 cups. It's my 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to pour it in here. Here's 1 cup and 2 cups. She was right. These were 2 cups. 6 ripe brown bananas made exactly 2 cups. Now that we have our 2 cups of bananas, we're going to put in our eggs, those, and our 2/3 cup of oil. Okay, I'm just going to use my whisk and I'm going to combine those. Just whisk those up together until they get all combined. And this is what I have. Nice combined there. Not any complaints with that. Next, it says in a separate bowl, combine the flour, the sugar, the pudding mix, the baking soda, and the salt. And this called for kosher salt, so I am using kosher salt because I'm following the recipe exactly. I'm going to combine them. I'm just taking my wooden spoon and just mixing this around just a little bit. Next, it says to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, combined well, but gently. I swear, this is what the cookbook says. I swear this came out differently when I used an aggressive electric mixer. So I'm going to just combine these by hand with my rubber spatula. And I'm just going to take my bowl and spoon them in there. About half the mixture first, and then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to mix this up together, making sure I'm scraping the sides as I go. That sounds like a good time to tell a story. Yes, it does. So just before I moved to California, I went to the young one's house because they wanted to learn how to make banana bread. And I didn't use this recipe. I used my own recipe. And mainly Sierra was the one who was really wanting to learn. I'm putting the rest of my mix in here. And so I went over. They had their ripe bananas and everything. And I remember with my recipe, I actually use a hand mixer. And when I asked them if they had a mixer, they were like, yeah, they have a, a hand mixer. And when I got there, it was one of those egg beater things where you mix it by hand. And we used it, and we all took turns mixing that thing by hand. And let me tell you, I quickly bought them a hand mixer because I'm not trying to ever mix with one of those hand beaters again, because it takes a lot more muscles than I ever want to exert. Yes, don't want to do it. All right, I mixed. Let me show you this. I am nice and mixed. You don't have any flour or anything like that. So I am happy with this. So we're going to move on. Now we need to fold in the coconut and the chocolate chunks. Coconut, unsweetened shredded coconut. And then we have the dark chocolate chopped into chunks. I couldn't find the dark chocolate bars in the grocery store that I was at, so I got the dark chocolate chips. So putting those in there, and I'm going to fold these in. Baking is my favorite thing to do. I enjoy baking almost more than I enjoy cooking, and that is because people really love sweets. I don't know why, but when you give people something sweet, they smile. Um, So I think that's why I love baking. But I will say in the last 15, 20 years of my life, I've done more cooking than baking. And I don't know exactly why, probably because I was cooking for my family. But I'm glad to be doing a healthy mix of them both. Okay, I folded this in. It looks really good. Let you see what I've got going on here. This looks really, really good. Next thing, she says the grease and flour a bundt pan. That means wipe a little grease around the inside of the pan, dust it with flour, and tip it upside down and shake out the extra flour. I've already done that. Pour the batter into the pan. Turn the bundt pan just a little bit to get it on the other side as well. Scrape the bottom of your pan. Make sure you have it all that yummy goodness in there. This was a pretty quick recipe, so I am happy about this. This is very straightforward and to the point with how to make this. The mixing, I just saw I did this all by hand, and the mixing of it was very easy. What's next? Say we poured the batter into the pan. This can also make 2 3 by 4 inch loaves, but it's so much more moist in one bundt pan. So that's what we have. Bake until the cake springs back when lightly pressed and a toothpick is inserted into the center, comes out clean, 55 to 60 minutes. Test it with the toothpick around 50 minutes. Let it cool slightly in the pan. Then use a butter knife to gently release the cake from the sides of the pan and around the inner circle. Then flip onto a plate, let it cool, and cut into slices. Rewarm them and serve them with salty butter. My mouth is starting to water. This is going into the oven. I will see you guys in 50 minutes. Okay, so my timer is going off. So let's check it and see what we have. This is 50 minutes. It is not springing back. It looks good, the color on it. It looks like I need to go ahead and do 10 more minutes because I had no spring on that. So see you in 10 more minutes. My timer has gone off again, so it's 10 minutes later. Still have a really good color on this. If you can see on here, I have no spring back when I touch this. So I'm going to let it go for another 5 minutes to see if I can get a better result. It's been 5 more minutes. My timer is going off. So let's see what we have. It smells absolutely terrific. We still don't have any spring back whatsoever. I don't have any toothpicks, but I do have a knife. So I am going to use a knife and check the doneness as well. So I'm going to take this in there. See, didn't come out clean. So I'm going in for another 5 minutes. Timer is going off again. So it's been another 5 minutes. Color is still looking really, really good. Oh, look, I'm starting to get a bounce back. So my knife. Ooh, I like the feel of that. I'm going to take it out, let it cool slightly in the pan. I'm going to give it 5 minutes. That's slightly to me, and I'll be back, and we are going to attempt to depan it. If it's not a word, it is now. Okay, so it's been about another 5 minutes, and I am going to attempt to depan this. Don't know if that's actually a word. I'm taking my knife, as she said. Use a butter knife and gently release the cake from the sides of the pan and around the inner center. The inner center. Just taking this knife and running it gently along the side, not rough at all. That is released. I've ran it all the way around. And then flip onto a plate. Here's my plate. I'm putting my plate on top. I'm going to hold like this so that I am supporting the plate and the pan. And I do have this on top of a cooling rack. After I took it out of the oven, I put it on a cooling rack. There's my cooling rack. And I'm going to flip this in one motion. Watch. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I heard a thunk. That thunk hopefully is the cake. I'm just laying it right back onto my cooling rack. I'm going to cross fingers, say a little prayer, and I'm going to lift up this pan, and hopefully it will be completely empty. Here we go. Yes, it is completely empty. So this is what I have. Kind of nice. I might have used a little bit too much oil in mine because I can still have that residue that I see on there. Let me show you the picture in the book. Here's the picture in the book. So mine's not too bad at all. This is what I have. This looks really, really good. So let's taste it. So let me get the salty butter on here. Salty butter is just salted butter, by the way. So I'm going to spread that on there. See, it's warm because it is instantly melting. And let's do my favorite part of the entire show, and that is the tasting. Did it work? Visually, I think it worked. So here we go. This has a wonderful banana flavor to it completely. Yes, I think this recipe worked for exactly what it was intended to taste like. I am not a fan of coconut. However, the coconut is not overbearing, so I could deal with it. It does give it some texture to it because I can feel the crunch of the coconut flakes as I bite into it. So that is pleasant. I've never put chocolate in my banana bread. So having that dark chocolate taste is also odd for me. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you're not a fan of chocolate or something like that, you might not want it in there. The flavor on this is great. So yes, it worked. If I was to make this again, I would not add the coconut because I am not a fan of coconut. And I would not add the chocolate because that is an odder taste for me. For the way that Chrissy Teigen intended this to taste and intended this to come out, I think this works. I have nothing bad to say about it. about the recipe itself and how it turned out. I think this is wonderful. It looks absolutely amazing and it tastes really good. Great banana flavor. So I'm going to leave you. I'm going to finish eating my piece and then I'm going to eat dinner because I have not eaten dinner yet. Then I'm probably going to eat another piece. So until next time, thank you guys for joining me. And always remember, cook from your soul, love from your heart. My name's Nina.